Hi friends, welcome back to the Common Sense Grandma. My name is Michelle. And have you been struggling in this economy? I know we certainly have been. Now that my husband is home full time, doesn't have his job anymore, we don't have that big cushion like we used to. And I will say, honestly, it's been a little humbling the last few months. We have had extra car repairs. The dog, we have a Labrador, and they have bad ears, and she's been to the vet multiple times. And I found out her sister, who lives next door to our daughter, same thing. We actually go to the same vet, and they had to drain her ear last week and sew it all up together, and oh my goodness. And so I was telling my husband, I said, I'm gonna go back to grandma habits, and I'm thinking about my grandma. I only had one grandma that I knew, that was my mom's adopted mom, and I did learn some things from them. They lived very, very simply, and that's a good way to live. And so I have today here, we are going to talk about 15 frugal habits that can really cut back on your monthly expenses. And of course, the first one is always meal planning. Now, I meal plan for a few weeks at a time. I make sure that we have on hand different items for at least 2 weeks. In fact, I'm going to show my little printable that I have here, and I will put it down below so you can print it out. It's also going to be on the blog, thecommonsensgrandma.com. But in here, I have where you can write out your favorite meals, have your kids help you, your grandkids, whoever lives at your house, and go through. And here we've got, these chicken, ethnic favorites, beef, soup and sandwich, vegetarian, freezer meals, pasta, seafood. But meal planning can really save you a lot of money, because then you're not going out to eat. And that's actually my second item here on the list, is cook from scratch, don't go out to eat. And I am so grateful that my previous self, let's say a few weeks back, I had cooked up a lot of meals and put them in the freezer. I also have freezer meals in there that I can just throw in the Instant Pot, which I like to use instead of the slow cooker in the summer, because the Instant Pot doesn't put out heat like the slow cooker does. And I have been so grateful to have that on hand, to just get these meals cooked up so we can eat well and not order pizza. Honestly, in our house, we order pizza maybe once every 2 years. To me, it's ridiculous. By the time we order the pizza and then the kids want, chicken wings and breadsticks, it's $60. I can buy a lot of food for $60. You can buy a lot of food for $60. So I think the biggest thing is to make sure that you have on hand these meals ready to prepare. Just go through your pantry, go through your extended pantry. And in pantry, I mean your freezers, your refrigerator. Go through there, see what you have on hand, what meals you can put together. And that will save you so much money. It's so easy to just want to stop and eat out. I mean, I have to go do an errand after this, and I was thinking, ooh, I could go through In-N-Out, or I can go through, Panda. No, I am not going to do that. You know why? I have leftovers in the refrigerator from last night, and that is another item on my list here of 15, and that is make sure you cook enough for the next day for lunch. And I know my husband used to be a lot pickier about leftovers. He is not anymore. He realizes that if we have leftovers, we need to eat them. And sometimes they taste better the next day, especially soup, stews, things like that. They taste better the next day. So make sure that you plan ahead and have your leftovers for lunch the next day, or dinner. That way you don't have to cook again. You just can warm it up. So we've gone through meal plan every 2 weeks, cook from scratch. Next, buy your pantry staples in bulk, if that makes sense. If you don't use a whole lot of something, don't buy too much of it. I do shop at Azure Standard for my big bulk items. In fact, here is wheat. This is an old pickle jar. This is red wheat. that I milled this morning. I've got my 2 loaves of bread over there and my old Bosch that still works. I baked bread this morning from scratch, all the way from, milling the wheat to making the bread. It's not hard. It doesn't take that long. I got it going before we ate breakfast, so while we were eating breakfast, I could just let that bread dough rise and then get it in the pans and get it going. But buy your pantry staples in bulk, but do the math. Make sure that you're getting the best price. At Sam's Club and Costco, buying things in bulk, it doesn't always save you money. So I am always cost per ounce or cost per pound. I check, I make sure that what I'm getting is worth buying in that situation. Now, sometimes we need convenience, you're in a hurry, whatever, we do what we have to do. I do like buying from Azure Standard though, all of our wheat, oats, things like that. Rice, I buy at Costco or Sam's. Beans, I like to buy from Azure Standard because I can get organic beans, and I prefer to use organic as much as possible, at least in those items. Can we eat organic all the time? That would be very hard and very expensive, especially on your produce. And of course, I hope you have your garden planted, even if you just get one green stalk. And in that green stalk, you can put your lettuce, your herbs, things like that. That honestly, lettuce and herbs, they're expensive at the store. You're paying $2 or $3 for a head of lettuce. When you plant in your green stalk or your pots, however you plant your garden, you just pick it off and it will keep growing. So you can have an endless supply for quite a while before you need to replenish it, which is what I did this last week. I planted new lettuce this morning. I'm looking out here. I planted 4 little pods of snap peas. Those have been so good. So make sure you keep your garden going, but when you can, buy in bulk if that makes sense. Next is cook once, eat twice, which is what I said earlier about, we've actually talked about that, but cook once, eat twice. Make a big dinner, enough so you have leftovers to either eat the next day or to freeze, and then you can pull that out. In fact, we had spaghetti the other night, and I looked in my freezer here in the kitchen. I had spaghetti sauce all ready to go because I had leftovers before. I pulled that out, dumped it in the crock pot, and I took out some meatballs that I had made a few weeks ago, which I think you saw I shared with you. I threw that in there, and so we had that meal for dinner that night and the next day. It was great. Next, buy store brands on items that are good quality. Your tomato products, they're fine buying store brands. There's nothing wrong with it. Even ketchup, those kinds of things, the store brands are just fine, especially your canned tomatoes, tomato paste, beans. If you buy beans in the can, usually the store brands are fine. Now, not everything is that good in store brand, but frozen items is usually good. And then your canned things, nothing wrong with that. And a lot of times they are the real expensive brand, just with the store brand label. So, not everything is good to buy store brand. I don't care for buying pasta that's store brand. I find it, starchy or something, but make sure that you can save where you can on the store brands. And I've talked about this one before. Brew your own coffee at home. Don't go to the drive-through. I can't believe people go to the drive-through to get a coffee in the morning. That takes time, and you're paying so much money that you can brew your own coffee at home. And yes, you have to buy the coffee pot, and always keep an extra carafe on hand. I broke one again this morning. I don't know how many I've broke, but the last time I broke one, I bought 2. So I know up here, I need to climb up there today and get my other new carafe. Keep one on hand in case you break it. But brew your own coffee at home. Don't go to the drive-through. Let's say you spend $4 every day on that. $4 times 30, that's $120 on coffee. You can buy a lot of coffee for $120. And here I am watching the best price when Costco or Sam's has the coffee on sale that we like. And that's the only time I buy it. I'll buy four cans of it. or packages, whatever I'm getting. So buy when it's on sale, and it lasts just fine. Now this is next one. This is so huge. Wait 24 hours before you buy an item, let's say in your Amazon shopping cart. You might think you need that item or you really want it, but I urge you to wait 24 hours before you purchase it. And many times you'll go, oh, I don't need that, and you can just empty it, walk away. Because we spend so much money on online shopping. Grandmas didn't do that way back when. My mom didn't do that. We didn't have any of that. Our homes had less things in them. I remember probably the first 10 years that we were married, we could move everything in one trip that we had in our house, and that was with having 4 kids then. We didn't need to make multiple trips or anything. We didn't have that much stuff. If we had to move today, oh my gosh, I don't even know how many trips it would take. We have too much stuff. So in your Amazon shopping cart or wherever you're buying, just wait. eBay, all of those, just wait a day. It will still be there. And if you still really want that item and you feel good about it, then wait and then buy it. Just ask me how I know. I've done that too many times. So wait 24 hours before buying. Now this one I'm having fun with. Have no spend days, or a no spend day, but let's say no spend days where you don't spend any money that day. You don't buy anything online, you don't go shopping, you don't go out to eat, none of that. Just don't spend. We can do that. And I kind of make a game of it now. How many days can I go without spending? Of course, sometimes we need gas, we need, something for the house, some sort of food item, bananas or whatever. But for the most part, just try to plan on no spending and see whatever you have at home, that's what you use. And that's just another way of saving without spending. Buy quality used. And I'm going to throw into this one, you don't need the latest, greatest electronics. On quality used, I'm talking about, I have some kitchen items like my bread maker I got on eBay. I actually have a lot of kitchen items that I got on eBay to make your own freezer meals or seal a meal, whatever they're called. I got one for $20. It was brand new, never been used, still in the box, not open. If I bought that at, let's say, Walmart or Amazon, somewhere else, it would have been between $80 and $100. My bread maker, same thing. I think I got it for about $100. To buy it new, it's $300 something, and it works fine. So, when you can buy used. I know when our kids were younger, there was a consignment store that I went to. I never sold anything, I just bought. I got all of their jackets, sweaters, snow boots, things like that. That's where I got them all for, maybe $5 versus paying back then, $25, $30. So, where we can, I have no problem with buying used. It's fine. Don't do what my mother did one time. She bought a nightgown used. I couldn't believe it. And she was so proud of it. And my sister and I were like, we would never do that. I didn't even know you could buy lingerie used, but gross. But anyway, there are a couple of online clothing stores that you can also, like ThredUp is one, and I forget the name of the other one, the one that I use, Poshmark. Poshmark, I have a lot of my shoes I've gotten there. They're in great condition. They're Clark's brand. I like Clark's clogs. That's where I've gotten most of them, and they're fine. And I've bought a few tops and a dress, things like that. Why not? You're paying a lot less, and you're helping somebody else out, and we're recycling through them. So buy used when you can. And here's a very good one, is combine your errands. If you need to go to the bank, the grocery store, the gas station, the car wash, do it all in one trip. instead of going out multiple times every day. I don't go out every day. In fact, last week I told my husband we had to go out places every day because we had to water at our daughter's for her garden, and then the dog, I had to take her to the vet. That was 2 trips, and so many things. I told my husband next week, which is now, this week, I don't want to go anywhere. I've only left the house once, and that was to do a pickup order. I do need to go out again this afternoon to go buy a couple things at Dollar Tree. And I will say about Dollar Tree, best place to buy cards. Hands down, they have Hallmark cards there for, I don't know how much they are, $1.25, $1.50, and they're beautiful. I keep a stack of cards on hand. I probably have 10, 15 cards here, but I need 2 specific ones, so I'll be going there today. But do all your errands just once a week or twice a week, and that way you're not going out and maybe tempted to go to the drive-through or stop for coffee, things like that. That's just a really good way to not spend. Next is cancel unused subscriptions. I have been going through our bank account and looking where were all these subscriptions, and it's amazing how much you can cancel. I know one time I did it, I'd canceled about $100 worth. And I went through again and I found 3 more items, and that's over $30. That's a lot of money. You don't need all of those subscriptions. And along those lines, call whatever companies, your cell phone, your TV service, your internet. For us, we also have Brink's Alarm. I am calling all 4 of them, and I'm able to get things at a better rate than what I was previously paying. And sometimes you have to really, I don't know if you want to use the word beg or whatever. I just tell them we're on a fixed income and I don't want to change services, so I would prefer if you have any discounts possible, and they will almost always lower the price, at least for 6 months, and then you just need to call back. Like now I need to call DirecTV and our cell phone provider. Both of those I know, and they told me just call back in 6 months, and when it goes up we'll just lower it again, but you need to call in. So that's what I'm going to do. So when you do those things, I was able to lower our cell phone previously by almost $70 something. I didn't know I was paying for certain services that I wasn't even using. I was actually pretty mad because I had no idea that I was paying all of that. And I looked at the bills, but I didn't realize what it was all for because they have a long list of things. So make sure you cancel whatever subscriptions you don't need. A lot of them are for the TV or for your cell phone or gym membership that you're not using. It all adds up, and in this economy nowadays, we need to do what we have to do, which leads us into, when you have to do this, use the cash envelope method. We have done that before in the past when my husband was in school. We had baby number 4. He was in physical therapy school, and boy, were we poor. And so we just used the cash envelope method for groceries, whatever it was, and it worked. And we've used it a few other times where we've had some situations where sometimes things happen and job loss happens, things change in an industry you're in or something, and so you have to change with it. And we've had to use that envelope method, and there's nothing wrong with that. Using a debit card or a credit card, it's so easy to just swipe. You don't even pay attention to how much you're paying. I know when I go grocery shopping and I'm just using a debit card, it's so easy to just pay and not even think about how much it costs. But when you're using cash, you've got an envelope of cash there, you're much more cautious with it. And I think it's a good idea to use for entertainment or travel. And what we did was we opened a savings account just for travel, and we just put a certain amount in there every month. And so when we want to go on a trip or something, we've got that money set aside, or if we want to use it for something else, it is there. And so to us, that's kind of our cash envelope method, other than it's at the bank. But just think about those things. I wish we had done what we do now. I wish we had done that 20 years ago. We would be in a better situation. Sometimes you get so busy and you're not thinking about those things, and then the years go by and it's like, oh shoot, well, why didn't I take care of all this way back when? It's never too late. It's never too late to change some of our habits. So use the cash envelope method when needed. Next is use reusable cleaning cloths. Now, some people, they're very anti-paper towel, and I am for the most part. I never use a paper towel to wipe up a spill or something. I just wouldn't do that. I do use them for a few things that I need to do, like I line my Tupperware with a paper towel, and then I put the washed lettuce and I put another paper towel on top, because that absorbs the moisture and it makes it last so much longer. But one thing that we have done is, excuse me, we have these microfiber towels and they work great. We got these, okay, it's Kirkland, so that means it's Costco brand, but they're like this, and we have one here in the kitchen to clean our glasses with, but we reuse these all the time. We bought this years ago and we're still using the same pack because we just wash them. So if I want to really do deep cleaning or whatever it is, we just use those microfiber towels, and they work great. They wash great, no problem. And I don't use paper towels for certain things. Some people say use an old flannel, cut it up, and that's a good towel to clean with. I would think so. We happen to give the flannels to our grandkids, but that's another way to go. Now here's another one. Unplug your electronics. I go around the house at night and I'm amazed. I have all the lights off and I look around and there's lights, little lights all over. Like sometimes the direct TV thing doesn't get turned off. The TV's turned off, but the direct TV is still on. So there's a light and it's still running. Turn that thing off. I started turning off my printer, my computer. At one time we had 3 printers because we had a business here at home, and we used a lot of printers. And I got rid of 2 of them. I'm down to 1, but now I turn that off at night. And I go around the house. I go in our grandkids' rooms, all of these places. And if they're not here, especially, I unplug stuff because it's still using a little bit of power. And it's amazing how many things I can go around and turn off. And I've always kind of been the light monitor. I don't understand why people are up at night and there's all the lights on in the house and it's only one person up. They don't need all the lights on in the house. So that's another thing to do. I am going to start using my rack for drying instead of using the dryer all the time. I washed the rugs in our bathroom and I brought them out, and I do have a drying rack. I don't use it very often. My daughter uses it for most of her clothes, and I thought, I can just put the rugs on there because it's going to take at least 70-80 minutes to run the dryer, and that's on high because these rugs are really thick. And I told my husband, I go, when we move to this house, you put a clothesline thing for me out back. We can't use it anymore because we would run it across the yard, and there was a tree there, and that's where we hooked it to, and the tree's not there anymore, so I don't have that set up. He goes, well, we can still do something about that. I said, we're going back to the ways of grandma, because that's what my grandma, she didn't have a dryer. She hung everything up outside. And I remember it was a big deal when my mom got a dryer. We didn't always have a dryer. We hung everything up outside. It's free. And your clothes do smell good. If you've got nice clothes, just hang them up and on a plastic hanger, and I hang them on our shower thing, and it's fine, and they can dry that way. So let's not use the dryer so much. Next is enjoy free entertainment. This is the last one. And what I mean by that is a lot of towns have, especially in the summer, at the parks, they do movie night. They have concerts. I know where my brother-in-law and sister-in-law live. they do concerts in the evening in summertime, and they just bring their picnic with them and go enjoy the concert. I think that's awesome. I do have to get my drink. I am parched today. Got some nice iced tea there. But there are a lot of cities have things that you can go do, participate in. So does churches. Churches, besides all the Bible stuff that they do, Vacation Bible School, there's still other activities that they do, especially for the youth. I know our church, they always do youth things, especially in the summer, but there's a lot of programs you can do. I remember that's how I learned to bake bread. Our church, when we lived on Guam, they did a bread baking class, and they do different classes. And if you're a senior, there's senior centers you can go to. When we lived in San Diego, when our kids were young, I thought San Diego was one of the best cities we'd ever lived in, because it was like all these little communities, and there was always a community center, and I could take our kids there, and they had playtime. They had so many activities for the kids. They were free. It was awesome. And a lot of towns still have those kinds of things. So you just need to check into it. Excuse me. Now, one thing we used to do with our kids, and now we do it with the grandkids, we take them to the mountains, or just at the foothills, or at the foot of the mountains, there's a river that comes down. And we take a picnic, we take the dogs, all the kids, and everybody just goes and plays in the river. And it's so much fun. It's good, clean fun. Of course, you have to go. You have to leave your house. But again, it's free. We just have to drive there. There's just so many activities that you can do. We actually, in our home, we don't have video games. When our kids were growing up, that was kind of coming out. We never had video games. And of course, all of you know, kids need to be outside. My way of raising the kids was go outside and play. Just go outside. We have a little bit harder time here. I can't do that with the little ones because we have a pool that is not fenced. And it's scary. So I can't do that. I would love to move because I don't like having the pool. It's too dangerous with little ones. But what are you going to do? Right now we're kind of stuck here. That's a different topic. What we're talking about is enjoy free entertainment where you can, or get together with friends. All those, there's just so many good things that you can do. Go for a walk, all that kind of thing. But when you're grocery shopping, make sure you just shop the perimeter of the store. You've got, I'm thinking about our grocery store, you've got dairy, eggs, all those kinds of things, and then you've got there's your meat, all of that, and then over here is all the produce. And there is, if you need to buy bread, go down that aisle. But that's pretty much all you need. You don't need all this stuff in the middle. It's not good for you anyway. So do shop the perimeter of the store. I know all of you know this, but sometimes we need the reminder. And with these 15 tips, if you're not already doing them, just choose one or two and see where you can cut back on, whether it's having no spend days, or not buying coffee at the drive-through, or eating out, all of those things. Just try to do what you can. I hope you have enjoyed this. I appreciate all of you. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye, friends.